Let's go. Hello, my geeks, my fellow friendly faces, geeks all. This is Geeks Assembled. With me is Lee, or either way, I don't know which way this is going to turn out. Anyway, he's agreed to come with me and review Sapphire and Steel, the school. The school is a story written by let's see, what's he written by? It's written by Simon Guerrier, who's written quite a bit of science fiction for Big Finish and maybe even books. I'm not sure if this one was part of the original series or not, but it's really it's just crazy. Um, and it's really regressive, as you will find out. Um, it's in four parts, so it's kind of like a television serial, and it's the big what if is what if the building became sort of sentient and wanted you to have an experience and stick around and basically feed the building, as it
Hmm.
were, or a spirit inside the building. Anyway, it's kind of like that. Starring David Warner and uh Susan Harker, no, Susanna Harker, and yeah, so it's just a really cool story. And what are your opening thoughts, Lee,
Well,
about it?
everyone knows I love the TV version of Sapphire and Steel. You know, Dave McCallum, Joanna Lumley,
Hmm.
excellent. But when these audios came out a few years ago, and those actors wouldn't reprise the roles for reason only known to them, um, getting David Warner and Susanna Harker, you you just thought, oh,
Oh,
you know, ooh, but once once you get into the audios, they make the roles their own.
yep.
Um, and this is the first one in the second season of what we've finished in. We've reviewed the full lot of the first season a few years ago, so it's been a while, long time coming that we've jumped into the second season of this one. Um, yeah, it's well, Sapphire and Steel. They're sort of time agents. Um, they're called in to stop time breaking through
Hmm.
to, and causing havoc and disruption to normality, really. Um, and this they appear at this school, what is celebrating 100 years. And that's the gist of the story. The school, it's its 100th year.
Yeah.
Um, the children, the mistress, the teacher, and the classroom full of children at the beginning sort of vanish as the
Completely banned.
like Sapphire and Steel, it just vanish, um, but then reappear. Um, and there's something strange about the headmaster and his wife, Mr. Leslie and Mrs. Leslie, um, which we only found, we found out there is something going on as the story goes along. But the school has influence on everything around it,
Yeah.
um, including Sapphire and Steel.
Yeah.
They sort of resort back to their
Yeah.
childhoods. They become children.
Yeah.
Um, it, and the way David Warner and Susanna Harker play that it's just such. It just brought a smile to my face.
Yeah.
It's having said, "I want, I want, I want to do finger painting," and it just felt, the humour's there, but I mean, Saffron and Steel is a dark series.
Uh-huh.
But you've got to have a bit of humour in it, and this does have humour. Um, and and the way they defeat, well, spoilers of course. Well, it can't be real spoilers now because how old is this now? 2006. Um, the the villain of the piece, as Susan sort of hinted at the beginning of this, is the school. The
Yep.
school is the school is the thing what was broken through.
Yep.
Because they're always thinking it's something else, a
A
person.
person, an,
Yeah,
uh,
but
an entity.
but it was the school. It's the memory of the school because we
Yeah.
found out that the school was burnt down.
And that there's like just like a car park or a
Yeah,
little meadow there now.
and it was controlling because we thought it was the headmaster that or the Max the
Yeah.
teacher, but no, they were just the ghosts.
Yep.
It was Mrs. Leslie who was still there, living in the past, bringing the school back, shall we say?
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was a great four-parter. I mean, sometimes you get these four-parters and you think, oh, bit of drag. One episode could drag here and there, but it didn't seem to do that for me. And it's always good when you have a story with Sapphire and Steel and it's involving children.
Yeah. No kidding.
I don't know what it is about spookiness and children.
Yeah. It's
it,
yeah.
it works so well together. So yeah, I enjoyed. I haven't listened to this for quite a few years now, and because they say the first series they did was only like 60-minute stories. In the second season, say they've gone to like four-parters.
Right. Like the show was on telly.
Was yeah. So which the format I do prefer because it just nostalgia again.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, great to listen to this. The school. Back to you, Susan.
Yeah. The school being the ghost. By the third story, I was tired. My brain was tired of thinking back to all the clues that were left behind about each of the characters. I was like, ah, I can't tell who the real culprit is because they all, on some level, have a real innocence to them, and they all have a real, of course, even Sapphire and Steel have a real nefarious nature. You kind of get they're spooky themselves. I
Oh
mean, they
yeah,
really are. They're not, and then in the middle of, because it's broken up into four parts. Um, in each of the broken spots, you get the intro with the Magellan and heavy elements are da, 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 and then Sapphire and Steel are required. So it's just like, you just feel like, oh, okay, okay, and you just you get carried away that maybe they're to blame,
yeah,
and you don't realize that the kids in the school and everything are all uh cosmic. At that point, they're all cosmic. They're all, out ghostly. They're all somewhere else. Anyway, it's pretty incredible. And the other thing that's really incredible about this story is the fact that they rely on so much, like, just background noise of actually just, children having fun. And you're like, where's that coming from? I mean, where are these children having fun? Because all the people that are speaking to any of our characters in it are not having any fun. And so that was really interesting. And then the way that the ghostly environment was pushing, like, crowbarring uh Steel first and then Sapphire back into their own, propelling them back into their own childhood, regressing them, was amazing. at the end, Sapphire's making fun of Steel. Like Steel is like becomes like the brunt of all these jokes. It's just amazing. And Sapphire is like, you know, she's a bitch, and Steel is like he's a poor bullied kid, and I feel really bad for him. And David Warner, of course, pulls it off. I just, I cannot believe we lost him this year because everything he did was just fucking amazing. He really is one of one of the coolest actors in the whole wide world ever. I mean, I just think so much of him. And so, yeah, I enjoyed that. And then the other thing that I enjoyed about this is the way that they do the wrinkles in time with a little bit of music that's just sort of super high pitched, and then there's a subtle thrum in the bass. That was good. Anyway, that was really good, and you wouldn't have been able to hear that bass on the telly because, like, there are some tellies that you can't hear the Wonder Woman bass on. You probably wouldn't have been able to hear the bass, the thrumming bass, but you can on an audiobook, on a Big Finish audio drama. So yeah, more of that's one of the things that's more engaging and more all encompassing. I mean, you can hear it in movies because most theaters were made for THX, but you know, you can't really hear that thrumming bass line in on the television. The bandwidth isn't wide enough, or now it is, but it wasn't. So maybe sometimes it is. If it's all cloudy, and you're getting your signals out over the air, you still won't be able to hear it. Anyway, so there's just a lot of really good stuff about the Sapphire and Steel, the school story, and yeah, their voices, especially when they're regressing, these two, acted back into the teenage years, and that was amazing. I mean, that was like so much amazing stuff to put into those characters. I was just like, I can't believe that that you actually hear their childhood. That was great. Anyway, so oops, sorry about that. Um, uh, yeah, sorry about that. Back for more, and I just wanted to, yeah, find out favorite bits, stuff that stuck out, your criticism, anything that you got. Uh, yeah.
Well, there was a part where the Mr. and Mrs. Leslie confront the art teacher Max
Oh yeah.
and sort of slam him with some force. And he needs medical attention, and they physically open up his head. And then the next scene, he's there in a class with the other teacher, and they're talking about the brain lobes and stuff. And if you touch this, you can see how this affects his arm, which was a bit gross,
That's
really.
gruesome. Yeah, that was intense.
But for a Sapphire Steel, but it turns out that Max was one of the ghosts in the school who we later found out was a teacher what used to perv on the children, um, which was sort of hinted at the beginning when he had a conversation with Steele. And he was going about his sexual preferences.
Yep.
But it was nothing that was sort of given away because he sort of talked his way out of that, and then it sort of revealed that he was the teacher who did that. Yeah, that was. But all in all, it's just as you mentioned with the sound of the children in the background. And you think, well, where are they? Because Sapphire, so keep going in the classroom. There's nobody there. Uh, or
No
you walk
matter.
into, so they walk into another classroom and the teacher's there with the children, and she said, "There's nothing wrong. We never went anywhere. We're here." Um, it was all, you know, sort of a mystery story as well. What's going on. Um, but yeah, I like it's a good start. I mean, I could see this done on TV. I could see
Michael.
McCallum and Lumley sort of doing this, regressing,
Yeah.
because the actors they are. But Warner and Harker, top notch, top notch.
Well,
So yeah,
Lumley did the regressing thing, like when she was playing Patsy Stone. She always had to regress, even
mm.
back to being when she was a man.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, she did that. I don't know. I never saw McCallum doing that. No, no. McCallum was always like, he was always the older, actually pushed into
I t- I tell you something. I did like the little um, Sapphire a little dig at Steel. I think it was nearer the beginning of the thing about him and the dalliance what he had with Jet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we ever get to see Jet in the audios. So we never know what happened there.
No, you're right.
Yeah, all in all, a great audio, very atmospheric, well written, well acted, and very nostalgic because it oozes Sapphire and Steel to me.
Yeah.
So I bat it back to you now.
And I like the fact that their deep sort of questioning of these of the teachers and stuff brought up stuff that was uncomfortable and real from when they were teaching, you know, from when the school was real school. And it hadn't been gone for very long, but it um you know, and the way that the kids used to be sort of carted off to these schools in the country where they'd have to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always kind of like you, yeah. And and there was and all the and the school seemed to be, or the school, the head student, the heads, the Leslie's and the school itself seemed to be really proud of what the students were doing. I
Well,
mean,
that was the story, wasn't it? That Mr. Edger was so proud of the school,
yeah,
so proud of the school, and then it just went all wrong.
yeah, really went all wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, it burnt all down. But while it was standing, I mean, apparently all of these people were super proud of their kids and what the school had accomplished, and like the long term impacts of good that they had. And anyway, that was great. And the brightness of the students, the real academic achievements too,
mm,
in terms of maths and sciences and stuff. And was the school out to get all the other people? Yeah, the school was a proper villain, and as people would, enter this ghostly place, they would disappear. Which is the way, something dangerous like that gets
It was,
known as being dangerous, right?
but it was Mrs. Leslie who just wouldn't let it go. It
Yeah.
was her. It was her. I don't know what you call it.
Obsession.
Touching with it that brought it back.
Yeah.
Um, and she's at the end of the story. She's just left there on her knees crying,
Yep.
and Sapphire and Steel walk away, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's, one woman's obsession with the past.
Yeah. That was pretty rough, like how they confronted her at the end. They're like, no, none of this stuff is here.
Yeah,
It is here in a ghostly form because you believe in it so strongly.
yeah.
And they were so hard on her at that point. Yeah. Let's see other things that were, um, yeah, they they also created sort of alternate timelines as the or you would think if the school would have actually been there, that and there would have been like a time fold there would have been alternate timelines from where the art teacher wanted to, like, the whole paint cabinet and like the paint thing, like there was the three different layers of that. There was like the one that was, that the art teacher just taught and like was treat you know molesting kids, and then like the other one was that the art teacher taught, and then Sapphire and Steel intersected him, and then they didn't let that continue. But then there was the third one where this other student came in and wanted to, what was her name, like Chatura or whatever, and the
The other teacher, Chichura.
yeah, sort of a third timeline where all the graffiti was done, and the painting and stuff on the inside of the place, and then and you could see all three of them appearing in the classroom at once. I mean, like, that's really artistic, and I mean, you'd expect those sorts of freaky time folds in an art classroom. I mean, what a better place to have that kind of interaction with the reality, or like the super reality or the sub reality. Anyway, that was just fun, and yeah, I enjoy these a lot. I do. It's fantastic.
Well, I mean, it's a shame that Big Finish don't have the rights now to make these. Um, that's why they stopped doing them, because the rights went back to whoever, because they were supposed to be making a new TV series, and it never happened.
Right.
Like they had the rights to the Tomorrow People, but that was taken off them as well. And
Yeah.
so, but one day maybe Big Finish will return to the realms of Sapphire and Steel
Yeah.
when allowed.
It's the same troubles that they're having with Stargate, and it's the same troubles they were having with you know moving ahead with John Barrowman. I mean, like, there are issues that are tough to overcome.
Mm.
I'm just super glad that they did what they could when they could. They got some material out, and
Yeah,
that helped fill out some.
they grabbed the bull by the horns when they could.
when they could. Yeah. So for all of that, I'm really grateful.
Yeah, because Big Finish's output back then was amazing. I mean, you name it, they made it.
Yeah. That's this is
And
great.
it's the I mean, the ranges at the moment have sort of been reined in now, and they're not their output of diversity in their storytelling has sort of been reined back, and
Yeah.
it's mainly Doctor Who. It's mainly Doctor Who now, and Torchwood and stuff like that. I wish they would go out there again and do. I mean, they are doing Space 1999.
Yeah.
They did do The Prisoner, but they brought that to an early end.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed the Prisoner ones. They did Robin Hood as well, back in the day, with Stargate and there was Blake Seven, of course. They're doing Blake Seven, but
So,
most of the actors are no longer with us now, so they're having to do it a different way. Um, but yeah, at least we say we've got Sapphire and Steel out of them, and hopefully in the near future they could recast and start all over again.
yep.
Give someone else the chance to be Mr. Steel and Miss Sapphire.
Yeah. Is Harker still alive?
Oh yeah, Susanna Harker's around, but I haven't heard her in any of the Big Finish stuff since she did Sapphire and Steel.
Oh, okay.
I can't name any audios what she's been in since then.
Okay.
She most probably has, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
All right.
Uh,
Well, you would know because you actually listen to every single thing as it comes out. So I'm at your mercy here. So what's your final say and score?
Sapphire and Steel, an amazing concept. Be it TV, be it audio. Great storytelling, spooky, supernatural, science fiction, really dark, just right up my street. So just for that, I'm going to give it 10 finger paintings out of 10.
Nice. Yeah, well, all irregularities will be handled by the forces controlling each dimension.
Yeah.
Transuranic heavy elements may not be used where there is life. Medium atomic weights are available. Gold, lead, copper, jet, diamond, radium, sapphire, silver, and steel. Sapphire and steel have been assigned.
Mm.
Copyright to the owners of copyright. Yeah, so we are um I'm really I really like this a lot. I'm gonna give this a 10. I'm gonna give this 10 grumpy teachers or grumpy students out of 10, and I'm gonna say that even if you are regressing, still do your job. I mean, do your job no matter what your age is. Um, but let's not put kids too much to work. You
And, and can, and,
with the supernatural.
and can I just say, it's all because of the creator of Sapphire, so PJ Hammond, who created, for the TV. He also he's done a few stuff for Big Finish. Some of the lost stories, what he wrote, what never happened. He
Yeah.
adapted them for Big Finish and stuff like that. So he's still around. So if he's got any inkling, get in touch. Come on, work it out, work it out.
PJ Hammond, you have been assigned.
Yes.
Yes, you Sapphire and Steel have been assigned. It's time.
Yeah.
And so thank you for your assignment for us. we we look forward to doing more of these. Um, we come together and do them every 2 weeks, and sometimes just as many as we can.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Uh, if you want to join us, please do tell Lee. Please just get in touch with Lee. He'll let you know. All you got to do is be 18, have a device, a camera, microphone, and Zoom, and do do let us know, and then and you'll watch or listen to what we do, and then we'll get together and talk about it. And we like to talk about everything, and we tend to get a little dug into the geekiness of it, and that's really what our whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
And like to let you know that we thank you for your support. Please do leave us comments below and like our video. Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Give us just just tell us what we tell. Use those 2 clicks and show us, because that's how we get into the algorithm. And let's see, as you're there subscribing, please let the bell notification button ding for you. Oh
Ding,
wow.
ding in the dark. There we are.
And yeah, that was weird. And do come. It's usually at 9 p.m. on a Sunday UK time. Right now it's 8 p.m. on a Sunday UK time, because our clocks just went forward. And yeah, thanks Lee for doing the maths. I didn't. That was impossible for me. I don't know what my problem was, but anyway, the other thing is that yeah, this week we're also doing entrapment, so please stay tuned to our channel and have a look at that one. Um and yeah, enjoy the rest of our videos. Enjoy your time on YouTube.
Yep.
And try not to get sucked into a ghostly school. I mean, talk about a nightmare. Oh my gosh. Go back to school and you end up back to school. Ugh. Oh my god. Anyway, good story. Glad we did this.
Mm.
All right. Thank you, and good night.